And this is Group Stages, Group C for the HoN Tour Season 2 playoffs. Just make sure we're actually recording stuff. Yes, we are. That's good. And this is in fact going to be the last game that we cover from the initial group stages, as everything else has either been casted by myself or HoNcast or Colecast, and you should be able to find, therefore, every single damn game from these playoffs somewhere between my YouTube channel or the Twitch channels from HoNcast and Colecast. Of course, those guys doing a great job, great inspiration, and we'll see how badly we can imitate them here. I'm going to be doing a solo cast as Fruit ain't here right now, but that's okay. Used to being by myself. Sorry. Just, it hurts a little bit. As apparently, it's interesting, two of these players on opposite teams are both tagged up as Clan E. And I looked that up and now I don't remember what it was, but Curson and Shurkin over here on the brown and orange, both apparently on the same clan, yet playing on opposite sides, and neither of them tagged up as the clan that they're playing for, or the team they're playing for, so a little curious there. But anyway, we've got bands coming out: Moon Queen, Puppet Master, Kraken, and Pestilence. So MQ band we've seen before. We specifically saw it in that losers match of Group D. This is of course Group C, Consolation match, so different teams, but we have seen MQ band before. Not very common, actually, in fact very rare, but certainly one you can understand. The Puppet Master is very interesting. TCC, I believe, is a little known for running that Puppet Master. They've done it a couple of times, and they've had some pretty strong success with it, so makes sense a little bit here that Penguin would ban out that puppet, deciding that he does not want to go up against it. And it is notable that Ophelia and Cersei were both left unbanned, so was Grinix for that matter. So we'll see if any of those, or all of those heroes get picked up. As Ophelia is already up and available, Cersei won't be picked up by the Legion side as they're running that Jungle Parasite, and they already have Rhapsody, but still an option here for the Hellborn. So looking into Legion's picks right now: Bubbles, Rhapsody, and Parasite. Presumably going to be Rhapsody mid, although she could also babysit. Usually she is running that dual mid role though. Could also be a Bubbles solo mid or a Bubbles suicide. Parasite's certainly going to be in the jungle. But we'll see how TCC decides to lane this. They certainly have options at this point. Same thing over here for the Hellborn side, as Penguin has that Kronos. We'll see if he's a suicide or a short laner. Ophelia going to be certainly in the jungle. Master of Arms most likely going to be a support. We don't really see him in the carry role that often, but it could certainly be a carry master, so that could either be a support or a carry. If it is a carry, it could be short lane, it could be mid. Same thing for support, really. I do expect that Kronos to actually be a suicide. We've been seeing Kronos more and more often in that suicide role, and rarely as a solo, as a short laner. So expected to see him there, and certainly won't be surprised if that's exactly what happened. But certainly both teams at this point looking pretty solid. I'm favoring Legion here a little bit just because I do like Kronos, but we've also we've seen him do incredibly well and take over the game in a suicide role. We've also seen him do quite poorly in the suicide role and be totally unable to recover. So it seems to be a little hit or miss with him. Either you get that great start and you destroy the team, or you're just a useless hero for most of the game because you never have enough farm. Now, to be fair, when we have seen him in that I don't have enough farm role, it's as a result of being the second or third farmer on a team that has heroes that just soak up farm. And so far for the Hellborn side, it looks like he will be the primary farmer if he gets out of that suicide role okay, or even if he doesn't. So that could help him out quite a lot if he's allowed space to recover, assuming he does not have a good early game. And if he does have a good early game, he won't need it too much, as Kronos does get fairly powerful fairly fast if he's used appropriately and he has a nice beginning. So Kronos certainly going to be boom or bust here, and it's probably how he goes, perhaps so goes the Hellborn team. So we'll see exactly how much impact that has there. Over here on the Legion, still looking for a short laner probably and a mid hero. Could be a suicide if they decide to mid that Bubbles. But I think most likely we'll see an initiator to pair with Rhapsody and a solo short bottom. That's usually what happens, as Rhapsody does like to be dual lane. And she's a decent babysit, but I think she's a little better in that offensive role in an offensive dual lane. And I do hope that TCC chooses to run her in that capacity. Bans on the Legion side are Corrupted Disciple, Grinix, and Keeper of the Forest. So interesting that they ban out 2 real suicides, considering Keeper won't be jungled as the Hellborn team have Ophelia, as well as a CD short lane. Theoretically, roles that the Hellborn have already filled. Now, I understand that they don't want to ban out mids, assuming that Bubbles will suicide, but it's a little interesting there because, you know, those are really heroes that they could have used themselves, and they're also heroes that Hellborn don't really need, that they're not going to be severely hurt if they can't pick up. Ophelia Keeper is a pretty well-established combination. You could certainly run that, but perhaps not what I would have expected from this Hellborn side. As they will pick up the Valkyrie, so Madman here for the Legion is going to be their 4th pick, wait, on their final pick at this point. It's either going to be a Suicide Madman or Bubbles. If Madman suicides, it'll be a mid Bubbles. If Madman short lanes, it'll be a Suicide Bubbles, I think. So, once again, TCC, their lanes are a little obscure. I think at this point, Rhapsody is definitely going to be dueling to mid just because Madman doesn't really need her in the babysit role. Because he has that stock, he can pretty much get away from most aggression, and he's never in too much danger. That's why he's run as a suicide. So at this point, I'd sort of like to see another short laner with a Madman suicide, a Bubbles mid, and and Rhapsody babysitting somebody in the bottom. Give the Legion side some more late game potential. Right now, they have a fair bit, but not too much really. If they can get a strong pushing short laner, Moon Queen would have been great here. Obviously unavailable. But perhaps Dampier, Dark Lady, that's going to be fine. So that's what we're going to see. Not that surprising we'd see a TDL here. So it will be TDL, Rhapsody bot, Bubbles mid, Madman Suicide, and Parasite in the jungle. A strong lineup here for TCC, as they pick the Geomancer here on the Hellborn side. I'll get into that in a minute. I'm liking this TCC lineup. We've got some good early burst, Bubbles and Parasite. Rhapsody will be able to help out a little bit with that. Nice late game. Madman and Dark Lady will be able to carry them extremely hard. Perhaps the only thing they're missing here is push, stuns, and they don't have a real tank. So if they get jumped on, really any of these Legion heroes will go down relatively quickly. None of them is going to be able to survive much burst. And luckily for them, the Hellborn team doesn't seem to have too much of that burst themselves. They're substantially stronger in pushing with that Ophelia, and Valkyrie, of course, will be able to help Soul Master of Arms. But even with the Valk Chronos, I still think I give the late game to the Legion side here just because I feel like TDL is the hardest carry in the game right now, even over Chronos. Chronos is extremely powerful, but TDL just hits so damn hard and she destroys team fights and opposing heroes. It's pretty insane how much damage she can put out. Plus, of course, with the Rhapsody being able to save her if she gets jumped by somebody, and Bubbles and Parasite just being annoying as all hell in the middle of a game. And of course, Madman is certainly a harder carry than, well, not certainly, but I think probably a harder carry than Valkyrie. So if this goes very late, I do expect TCC to do well. I expect them to have a fairly good laning phase as well. Their lanes are quite solid. TDL should be very happy with this bot. And Rhapsody making sure that, I assume it's going to be a Suicide Chronos, yeah it is, who will be more or less boxed out. She will need to be a little bit careful because Chronos, once it gets a few levels up, can do something to her and possibly kill her, but will not. It'll be a little hard. So as long as Rhapsody plays relatively safe, but still does what she can to box out this Chronos, I think she should be fine. So this should be a pretty easy win in bot lane for the Legion side. Middle's going to be interesting. I assume they're going to dual lane this mid. Yeah, the solo top Valkyrie actually looks like... Yes, Master is headed middle. That's good. So it looks like it's going to be a Master and Geomancer mid. And Bubbles won't have a great time here, but he should be mostly okay. This is a dual stun lane, but the take cover is going to make it extremely easy to dodge either the charge shot or the burrow from Geomancer. What it is? Burrow strike? Dig. Burrow strike is Sand King. So Bubbles should be mostly okay here, and actually it looks like we're going to start with Master of Arms top. So Valk Master top against this Madman, and I don't think they're going to be able to kill him. Madman will not get too much up here, taking some harass already. As Ophelia is actually already looking for a gank, has a Skeleton King, and Madman could be in a little bit of trouble here, but in fact he will run to the side and be alright. Puts a ward down, will block that pull, and just going to get a bunch of damage here on the Master of Arms. So it looks like they're waiting for this. There's a charge shot into the arrow, and now Madman's in a ton of trouble. Has the stock activated though, so he's not going to be able to. And now actually he's in more trouble, so he's going to fall here.
Cherry popper.
Activated the stock while he was still stunned, which was not that bad, but I think with the positioning of the Hellborn side, they wouldn't have been able to kill him while he was staying there, and then with the stock active, he would have been able to run away. So a little too early, in fact, activating the stock. I believe the Skeleton King net came out and held him in place in the meantime. So a little unfortunate there, as Kronos and Rhapsody, of course, going to go at it in this bot lane. Kronos looking for as much harassment as he can put down, but then Dark Lady just taking all the CS in the world. And so as of right now, this is a solo Bubbles versus a solo Geomancer, and that's definitely going to be in favor of Bubbles, as he will be able to harass Geomancer like mad, and possibly even get a kill with that Shell Surf song of the Sea Snipe. Geomancer's dig is very powerful and very long range. Earth Scrap is going to be used to harass a little bit there, so that's good. And of course he can use it multiple times. One reason that Geomancer was, for a while, a strong competitor to Magmus is because Magmus can stun once at level 1, and Geomancer can stun like 3 times. So, really as a... Sorry, on bot. Penguin gonna fall here. Just gets caught by the Staccatos and the Dark Blades from Dark Lady, so he is unable to time leap, and just enough on the auto connects. Parasite even coming in with the Minotaur Stomp, but not necessary, as he was waiting for the time leap away. So nice pickup there. It isn't the Bloodlust, but a very good kill nonetheless. As Ophelia has now retreated, started farming the jungle, and Master of Arms has been mostly ineffective here. Rhapsody on bot providing strong lane control for this Dark Lady and forcing Kronos out. Master of Arms isn't doing quite the same for this Madman. He is still level 1, so Valkyrie's got some strong levels, level 4, but a health pot can be taken here by Madman, and he will be relatively okay as he now has lane control. Gonna pop up here, activate the stock. Not even gonna do that, just gonna run through. There's the stock. Doesn't want to get hit by a charge shot. And he will now grab a mana pot, so he'll be able to get some pretty solid bubbles here. And Rhapsody's off with Parasite a little bit, and now between the two of them it's very possible to look for a gank. No good creeps available for Parasite, as the Taint Soul goes out of Kronos and Dark Lady to put some harass in. And they're just basically going to force him out of lane at this point. Creep's getting dragged here, actually, and tdL's going to take quite a lot of damage. Dark Blades go off there, and Kronos is looking to just get the hell out of here and not die. Health pot is activated as he time leaps away, but that might not be enough here. Depending on whether the Staccato stuns can get off, not going to happen quite yet. Rhapsody looking for the angle, but won't find it, I don't think, unless she puts the damage. Nope. Yeah. Everybody's chasing, still going for it, as tdL will finally abandon the chase and go back to bot lane to just continue to take her CS. So Madman 126 GPM, Penguin at 98, Madman level 4, Penguin level 3. So that's really there's a slight golden experience lead here for Legion, very very slight, but that's pretty much why it's there. It's because the suicide of Madman is doing a little better than this Kronos. Invis Geomancer, probably looking for level 6. I'm going to try to set up here. No, not quite. It's interesting. If he had waited and hit level 6, he probably could have killed this this Bubbles. That Earth's Grasp does a ton of damage. 32 magic damage. 10 times? It's 320 magic damage. Wow. So Bubbles may be forced to lane there. Will have to go back to base. And now Geomancer will hit 6 before he does. So if he's able to line up that Crystal Field. And Stalk coming in from Madman. Going to try to put some harass onto Valkyrie here. And doesn't want to die. Arrow's getting taunted, but won't actually be thrown. Earth's Grasp once again, and Bubbles is like, I hate this. So Bubbles does hit 6 first. Penguin apparently evading some aggression from Parasite there. And his Mana Pot will get knocked off. So both mids are level 6. Earth's Grass, there you go. Kelp Field and a Shell Surf will finish him off. Let's switch to gets put down, but it's not going to be nearly in time. So good play there from Bubbles, managing to finish off this Geomancer. Not that surprising, as his early burst is relatively good, of course. And nothing that Geomancer can really compete with. So 2-1 hero kill lead in favor of the Legion side at this point. And Chronos getting dove here with the Dark Blades active, and TP support will come in. TDL going to take a bunch of damage from this tower. Actually, Chronos going to jump back in, get the time lock onto Rhapsody. There's Staccato Stuns though, and he will get finished off by the Shell Surf there. Day going to come in, won't get hit thanks to the take cover, as Bubbles coming in from the side, and has just enough to finish off that Chronos. And now is when you all chat, yep, because of the note from earlier. Yeah. Ophelia looking for a top push here, has been extremely inactive, basically just farming the jungle. And considering how active Parasite has been, really, Oaf's farm should be better than it is, and it's not. Like, Parasite's at 230 GPM, Oaf's at 215. She's done nothing other than farm the woods, essentially, for the last, really, 5 minutes. She came in for that early gank, got a Bloodlust on the Madman, but since then, it's been nothing. And she does have only one creep here, too. Despite being level 5, she has the ability to control 2. Shellsurf coming in here. Valkyrie just destroyed. Sorry, no, that was Master of Arms. What am I even looking at? Valkyrie's all the way back in the middle. So, barrel roll on top of the Shellsurf Song of the Sea combo, and Master falls. Looking for an opening here is Chronos. Dig on top of there. Nice. Dark charging strikes away, though, from TDL. Puts the tank soul onto Geomancer, and actually he's going to take a bunch of damage here. Face hug and gets destroyed by the leech, so nice kill onto Geo there. Interesting that Chronos would choose to initiate without having the ultimate. Especially because you can use that Chrono field to set up a really pretty nice crystal field. Lots of fields here. So 5-1 hero kill advantage. Jump right back in on Chronos. Tainted Soul goes out though, and now there's some Staccato Stuns. Master is here, takes a shard shot, and now TDL will fall, so a little too much aggression there, but Bubbles is coming in from the side, and Chronos might be in some trouble here. Will take the Shell Surf? No. Actually, Master is going to get Staccato Stunned and killed. Geomancer coming back in. Earth's Grasp onto Bubbles, and now he's in some trouble. Kelpfield gets put down. There go the Illusion Runes as now. Nice Crystal Field there. Dig will hit nothing, and neither will Crystal Field. Chronos looking for something, but eats the Shell Surf and dies. And now Geomancer getting chased down. There's the Leech. Will there be enough damage here? No. And now with a Dig, both Parasite and Rhapsody in some trouble. Rhapsody will fall here, but the barrel coming in for a Madman, and Geomancer dies. Creep Wave's going to clean up here, so this will be a bot tower push.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
So, solid engagement there from the Legion side, losing Rhapsody and Dark Lady, but killing Master of Arms Chronos and Geomancer plus the bot tower. Good rotation from Madman coming bot. That barrel roll, of course, helping to clean up the kill onto Geo. And things are looking pretty good here for the Legion side. 5k gold, 4k experience, as they've pretty handily won the laning phase. They won bot, they won mid, and they lost top, certainly to be expected, but they didn't lose it very hard at all. I mean, it's like Madman versus Valkyrie and Master of Arms. Really, he's not going to win that lane unless things go horribly for that Valk. As a result, 3 heroes on the Legion side, out-farming everybody on the Hellborn. And Madman at 200 GPM actually isn't too bad. Should be able to recover quite nicely if he's given some time. And he really should be, because he can be a somewhat valuable hero, certainly. Very annoying, if nothing else. Up top, meanwhile, Kelpfield, and there's a Shell Surf Song of the Sea combo on top of Valkyrie, so she will die. Ophelia now getting chased down, but here comes Geo. Dig will hit nothing. Dust of Revelation going out, and there goes the Earth's Grasp. And actually, Madman will hit 2 with this. Shell surface available. Gonna hit. Oh my god, there's the shell's port, and he's gonna get both, so I was waiting for both. Kronos isn't gonna be able to do much. Face hug, and there's a leech too, and now he's in some trouble. Wow. Able to get chased down by Parasite there, who I don't think Kronos was expecting. And for some reason just refusing to drop the ult here. I don't think he would have had the kill on the bubbles even if he did. But it probably could have got him away from that Parasite, as I believe the face hug was no longer silencing him. Valkyrie going to invis herself, perhaps look for a pick onto this Dark Lady, but she's definitely not going to find one, so I don't know what she's doing. She does have a level on TDL, but TDL has substantially more farm, and even if she eats an arrow, it's going to have to be extremely long range for Valk to be able to actually kill her before she can charging strikes away. Faking the arrow. And TDL knows, like, there's no reason for me to sit on top of the creep wave here. And mid-while, Chronofield going off, and Bubble's in a ton of trouble here, will die to the charge shot. Parasite looking for a jump himself. Ophelia's right here. He does not have a codex. He's actually going to sit in the woods in a little bit of a precarious position, but actually nobody will notice him, and he'll get out of here. If Master finds him, he actually might just kill Master. Here comes the courier. It's going to spot him. Yeah, it spots him. Did that not spot him? How did they not see him? They're going to see a jump here on his Geomancer, and he's just... Nope, not going to fall. I figured the Staccato Sun would come in, perhaps follow up from Master of Arms, and all of a sudden there'd be a dead Geomancer, but that Face Hug Leech combination not doing quite as much damage as they thought. 800 health on the Geomancer. I want to say Geometer's Bane every single time. So we never see this Geo, and I'm like, what is this hero? So Legion expanding their lead to 7k in both resources, just about. As Madman will come top, clean up some farm, and get a deny on this tower, as it will be put in deny range from that Hell Cannon. Bubble's hanging out middle. He is level 11, so he has that level 2 Kelp field. Geomancer will port away, and Master will also abandon this lane, so nobody going to be there, as Shorkin successfully denies the tower on top. Bubble's just going to clean up the creeps here. Valkyrie Prism going off, looking for a pick here, but won't find one as it just wears off. Geomancer going to port back, or dig back to the creep wave. Got a couple of CS. As Rap and Bubbles are at the Hellborn Ancients, which are double stacked, but will be chased off by Valkyrie. Up top, meanwhile, Chronos getting jumped by everybody. Codex is there on Parasite, and he will fall in half a second. Valk getting jumped, takes the Master Ultimate, will arrow in the face of Bubbles, who's now taking a lot of damage, and Bubbles is just going to die to the Fork Lightning. Nice placement there from Master of Arms. We're actually getting slowed down a little bit by the Storm from Valk. Looking for a stun on this Minotaur, but won't find it. Just able to get out of it, as top tower is pushed in by Madman and Parasite. But similar event here, looking for a push on mid. Valk going to get ported back. So Glyph goes out, but it doesn't look like the Legion is interested in defending this tower, and it will fall in relatively quickly.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion
So not a
tower.
surprise, some better tower pushing here on the side of Hellborn, and perhaps some better push overall. Legion's push isn't terrible, Rhapsody Dance for helping out. TDL with the, I assume, is going to be a Rune Cleaver relatively soon. As the arrow going out there, not going to hit. And then, of course, Bubbles and Madman using their abilities to clean up creep waves a little bit, but their big issue, of course, is going to be building damage. They don't have that much of it, especially compared to the Hellborn team with the Ophelia. So certainly Hellborn going to be able to take towers down faster. In terms of creep waves, it should be relatively even. As you said earlier, I still think I'm going to give the late game the carry potential here to the Legion side. So a push goes in favor of the Hellborn, carry in favor of the Legion, burst also in favor of the Legion with that Parasite and Bubbles. Plenty more burst damage than the Hellborn has. In terms of teamfight though, I do think the Hellborn probably takes it. The Chrono Field, the Crystal Field, the Valkyrie Prism, even the New Earth's Blessing, and Master of Arms, of course, that combination, very powerful when you're trying to save somebody who's getting jumped. Of course, Parasite can be very annoying when it comes to that Master Pump's ultimate because he can steal it. But hopefully Master will be able to put it off after the Facehug has already gone down. So actually, I say relatively even drafts. The team fights and the push going in favor of the Hellborn, the carry, and the burst going in favor of the Legion. And so both of these teams have slightly different objectives. Hellborn, I think, looking to group up and push and take team fights for the most part. Legion side looking to get a pick or two and then team fight because they know that, that's what Parasite does. He gets picks on people, and if you're fighting 4v5 against a Dark Lady and a Madman, like, that's not a fight you're going to win. Doing it 5v5 is hard enough, even with all the AoE ults on the Hellborn side. If you're doing it, if you're down a man, you're missing a stun from Master, or an ult from Geomancer, or the New Earth's Blessing from Ophelia, then that's going to massively impact your ability to fight. As TDL just will not leave this bot tower alone. Continually looking to push it in. She has one broadsword, looking for the second, 600 gold off, so she should have a rune cleaver here in about a minute. She's currently at 365 GPM. Bubbles leading the way at nearly 400. The spot tower will fall in favor of the Legion. No defense here from the Hellborn. Interesting. And that's going to be TDL's rune cleaver. Runed axe now, is it? We're at a sight there from... it's actually Valk Prism going off once again, but they're not going to find anybody. The entire Legion team is playing relatively defensive. Despite the taking of a secondary tower there, they're now all back into their jungle. So good pushing, in fact, going out from the Legion side, as you wouldn't think they'd be up on towers, but they currently are. And the fact that they've killed a secondary is reasonably impressive. Mid-first tier tower still alive, but pretty low, actually, and if they want, they can group up here and try to kill it. Madman going to get spotted out a little bit here by Master of Arms, but he'll just stalk away and be fine. So Legion team continuing to just gradually increase their lead. Doing a better job of taking resources faster than the Hellborn are, and as a result, just inching slowly forward. We haven't had too many... we haven't really had an all-out team fight ever. We haven't had too many engagements even in the last, maybe 5 minutes. 13-5 hero kills, so it has been a fairly action-heavy game, but since the laning phase ended, there hasn't been too much fighting. And I think we're now getting to the point where Hellborn need to do something. They're going to have level 2 ultimates on Valk and Geo and Ophelia relatively soon. Those heroes all 9 or 10, so I think once that happens, they should look to group up and push, probably take down a couple of towers. Between the Ophelia and the Valkyrie, they should be able to clean creeps relatively fast, and they can probably push bot through in a matter of minutes. TDL once again informed the spot lane, knowing she has the safety and security of a tier 1 tower that has no damage on it, which is shocking. I didn't even realize that. Dance Floor going down. And TDL will clean up this wave. Still no damage to this first tier tower bot. It's pretty impressive considering we're 20 minutes into this game. The other side has an Ophelia. Of course, Ophelia not very mobile, so not necessarily able to rotate from her own jungle. Essentially, Rev Ward is down there and will spy out the Valk Prism. Rev Ward from the Hellborn side too, and I believe these are in range. Maybe not. Creeps would have spotted it. As over here and by the Concord pit, actually, Parasite getting destroyed. Gets wrecked by just about everything, and all of a sudden he dies. Trying to pick off Valk, but not nearly close enough. And here we have the entire Hellborn team. So like I was saying, hit those level 2 ultimates, group up and push. And it looks like that's pretty much what they're going to be doing. They are heading over here, possibly take the Ancients first. Or perhaps they're looking for a pick on this Valkyrie, or TDL, but she will just port away, so she'll be fine. Rhapsody running down the lane, but once again we'll be okay. Arrow not gonna hit. As Rop just runs a little too fast. So Ancient's gonna be triple stacked here, as their ward actually dies to a nice rev from Rhapsody. No counter from the Hellborn side, they will just allow her to kill it, despite having some presence here. Madman being there, I think, affected that decision. So 3 heroes here will be able to take out the Ancients relatively quickly. Of course, those dragons, Valkyrie's mad because her call does not do as much damage to those units. Rev ward there, gonna take down the Legions. As Parasite's in here with a Wild Hunter, but of course he should know that they know that he's there. Instead, gonna jump Master anyway and destroy him. Kelpfield actually also goes on to Ophelia, so there's a Minotaur Stomp. Actually not gonna go down. Nice Crystal Field gets put down, but that will just chase the Legion side away. So Master of Arms quickly destroyed by that Parasite. Pretty much nothing you could do there. You saw Parasite coming in, but it's like, what am I gonna do? He's gonna Magic Immune creep. TDL actually gonna clean up these Ancients. That's a pretty big deal. Minotaur Stomp over there. Actually, Parasite is taking over one of Ophelia's creeps. So TDL gonna get all of these Ancients. And that's a huge resource steal for the Legion side. Chrono's going to drop a Chrono Field here onto Madman, and he will eat an arrow. Get push booked out of it, though. And is he going to be able to stalk away? No. Dig finishes him off. Nice Rhapsody ultimate. Going to do something to protect that TDL. Not enough to get Parasite, but Parasite's going to come in here. Panzer Armor and the Ophelia ultimate coming out will save Geometers again. Geomancer plus the Astrolabe will actually get him right back up to full as the Legion side appears to be in retreat mode now. Dig going to stun out Bubbles, and he will die. Chrono's going to jump back in here with the Time Leap, trying to slow down this Parasite, but it's a 2-for-1 exchange there. Sorry, no, it's a 2-for-0 exchange. Nobody died on the side of the Hellborn. Still thinking back to that Master. Couple of nice picks then. Just not enough in terms of what the Legion side had. Bubbles, of course, with that portal key thinking, if I can get the take cover off for just long enough, maybe I'll live, and 'twas not to be. On bot, Madman's pushing up a little bit, up to 270 GPM, 4th highest farm on his team, but he's been given some area to maneuver, considering he was, he's always been the 4th highest farm on the team pretty much, because of that suicide roll. 270, not that bad, especially considering we've got that TDL with Rune Cleaver who tends to take farm from everybody else and give it to herself. She's nearing 500 GPM at this point, and Valkyrie is the highest farmer on the Hellborn at 300 GPM, so they need to be massively concerned at this point about how much gold they have. She does have a shield breaker. It is only level 1, so she's cleaning up some creeps down here as Bubbles is up chasing out Kronos. And this is what I said at the beginning, if Kronos doesn't have a good start, he's a fundamentally useless hero, and he's at 260 gold per minute now, which isn't the worst. But with the Firebrand Energizer Steam Boots, he doesn't farm that fast. And in team fights, he'll drop the Chrono Field, but unless he gets a really good one where his allies can attack from outside of it, it's just going to be him in there. So if he's super farmed, that's fine, because just him in there can take down 1, 2, maybe even 3 heroes, depending on who they are. But if it's just him in there and he does no damage, all it does is stop the fight for 5 seconds. It doesn't actually do anything, it just stops the fight for 5 seconds. So Kronos is at this point going to have to be extremely concerned and essentially perfect with its chrono field placement, because he's going to need to put it in such a way where his allies can actually help him out, and luckily he has 3 ranged on his team, so he doesn't actually have to be completely perfect, putting the heroes just on the edge so Amelia has range to attack without actually getting inside of it. But it is mildly concerning that his substantial carry potential is essentially being wasted because he doesn't have any gold. And I mean, he's actually doing fairly well considering how poorly he started, but still, 270 GPM on a Kronos is not good, especially when your Valk's only at 300. I think it'd be different if Valk was up there at 500 like Dark Lady is, because Madman's in somewhat of a similar situation. He's not exactly the same because he can just run around a fight, causing some mayhem, spreading some damage, and living because that stock allows him to get away. But he's not the main focus of this Hellborn team. They have to be worried about that Dark Lady. Madman is a secondary, tertiary concern. He's not the guy they're like, oh crap, it's Madman. It's oh crap, it's Dark Lady. And with the Kelfield keeping everybody in place, Parasite having some burst, there are multiple concerns here for this Hellborn team. And so Madman's decent but not great, really somewhat mediocre farm is not that big a concern to the Legion side, because just his importance and his value to the team right now doesn't need to be that high. Unlike this Kronos, unlike this Valkyrie, who both need, I think at this point, it's pretty clear they need to be stronger than they are. 290 gold per minute and 271 on Kronos do not work. Like, as he's actually going to jump Bubbles here, Bubbles will eat an arrow and a call, so that's going to be a definite kill onto Bubbles. Just a little too aggressive there is the word of sight to easily spot him out. So that's a good pick, but we'll see how much it actually matters. And it's worth noting that both Valk and Kronos are heroes that need items. Like, Valk scales very well, actually, and I think she's a massively underrated carry, but she needs money. And she does farm pretty well, especially if she manages to grab that Searing Light. Didn't go for it this game, so I don't really agree with that decision. I think she needed to emphasize her farm a little bit. Of course, Searing Light giving her plenty of attack speed, attack damage, the burning modifier, plus the call, so mana increase, so she can just spam that. So she will farm very effectively if she has the Searing Light. It's just she didn't go for one, so she's not going to be able to skyrocket her farm, unlike this Dark Lady who went for Rune Cleaver, and that clearly proved to be the right decision. She was never even sort of punished for it. That's what you often see. You're like, well, I want to get a Rune Cleaver, but if I do, that's a farming mechanism. It's not a thing that's going to help me fight. So if I get one, I need to have, as up top, jump going to happen here onto Kronos and Valkyrie, so both of them. Takes the Master Arms Call and the New Earth's Blessing. Arrow going to be eaten here by Parasite as Kronos does leap away, and he will pour it out and be fine. So, couple of ultimates here, both of the heals coming out from the Hellborn side, trying to save their primary heroes, who for some reason are bunched up together in this top lane competing for farm, which makes no sense to me, but whatever. And they can be jump here on Ophelia now. Everything going down on TDL, but she pops the Shrunken, doesn't care about the Crystal Field. Now Geometer, it's actually nice arrow eaten there, so Geomancer, Jesus Christ. Chronofield getting a drop there, and this is what they're looking for. TDL evaporated, as that was a perfect Chronofield, but Geomancer is going to fall here to this Madman. Jump in, and Parasite's going to do something. We'll be able to take out Curson. Actually, nice Skeleton King net. They're not going to be nearly enough. Rhapsody does fall to Valk and Kronos here. Arrow going to be faked a little bit. Will actually be just dodged there. I'm shocked. Barrel Roll is going to slow him down. So despite the Energizer pop, they need to be a little careful. Valkyrie is completely out of mana, and if she had a Searing Light, she wouldn't be. Just saying. Her right clicks wouldn't be quite as powerful, but she needs that mana, man. She needs to be able... She has all sorts of low cooldown spells that do a ton in team fights and in ganks. She needs to be able to spam those, and for farming too, for that matter. She's just a hero that needs mana regen, and the fact that she doesn't have any is, I think, really hurting her. So I'm questioning that shield breaker pickup here from Valk. I really don't think that was the right decision. I honestly would have gone for a nullstone over that, stopping everything from Parasite, stopping the Taint Soul from TDL. You know, that's a bit of a nullstone, anti-nullstone ability because it costs no mana and it's not that important, and it breaks it. But seriously, just for the mana regen, like I'd rather have that. I'm not even kidding. Like, it would stop some stuff. It would prevent Parasite from being able to destroy here. It's just 1,200 health. Arrow coming in there will not hit TDL. Parasite right now sitting on a Codex 2. So between that, the Facehugger, and the Leech, he should be able to destroy his Val. If he gets the jump. Even if she has full health. If she has less than full health, she's definitely dead. With the Nullstone, of course, that couldn't happen. She could be a little safer, a little more, a little greedier with her ability to her attempts to farm. And while the Taint Soul does stop a Nullstone, you know, there's a bit of magic damage and a slow there, so with the Leap and the Energizer, if she got initiated on by Valkyrie and, say, Rhapsody, that might be enough to keep her fast enough to get away from those heroes. It would stop Scotto, too, for that matter. And then, of course, any Hellflowers or Sheepsticks that will probably be coming out here on the side of Legion, particularly from Bubbles, would not be able to be used. Meanwhile, Legion side looking for a group up and push in mid lane. TDL sitting in the front. Yeah, it doesn't seem like this is a great engagement to be taking. Secondary tower is about half dead, so they can sort of slow push this siege base instead of actually directly pushing it. But if they're going to go for one of these heavy pushes here, I'm thinking they might want to take Conqueror first. Just because they're sort of at the point now where they can't really fight after TDL's dead. It sort of depends. If they blow everything on the Hellborn side on killing TDL, then they're fine. But if they're able to reserve one or two ults and she's still dead, then that could be an issue for the Hellborn side. Meanwhile, up on top, Chrono's going to put a jump here onto Bubbles, who's actually going to die. Energizer gets popped by both Chronos and Valkyrie as they both bought one. Thunderclaw here on Chronos. We saw this build before. I like it. I really do. It worked much better when he had it at like 15 minutes because he got a great start the last time we saw him, but his attack speed with that and the Firebrand and perhaps even the Demonic Breastplate is ridiculous. He's hitting 2.5 times per second, and with the time lock, that basically keeps you auto-stunned. So it's 5... It's what, like 5 attacks is 1 stun. Yeah, 5 attacks is 1 stun. And it's a 1-second stun. So every, 2 seconds he'll be stunning you for 1 second. And since he gets, with the 2.5 attacks per second, that's essentially permabash. It's not actually permabash, it's basically you're stunned for a second, then you're free for a second, then you're stunned for a second, then you're free for a second, then you're stunned for a second, then you're free for a second. And, it doesn't need to be said that that's insane, and trying to get away from that, especially when you have the time leap and the chrono field at your disposal, is essentially impossible. Add the Firebrand on top of that, a little extra move speed he gets, and you just can't, you will die to a Chronos every time. Arrow going to come out, not going to be nearly enough, as it didn't even have range really to get out of the woods. Up top, Bubbles Madman looking up some creep waves, as TDL's really found a home in that bot lane. Sheep's going back. And once again, Legion's side is just continually expanding their golden experience lead up to 14k gold and 12.5k experience. I mean, even if they lose an engagement, the farm just keeps going in their favor continuously. And Hellborn continue to be back in the corner like they haven't gotten better. Chronos is now at 311 gold per minute, which is nice, but it's not exactly skyrocketing. Valk's still at 300. She's been maintaining that level of farm there for a very long time, and you need to get better. You can't stay stagnant if you want to win this. Bot tower still no damage. We're 35 minutes into a game. They've got Ophelia, and this bot tower hasn't taken a single hit. Madman going to be in some trouble here as Valk and Chronos going to be there. Arrow not going to hit. Oh, it is going to hit. And he just gets destroyed. Lots of support coming in here. Kelpfield on the both, and there goes Parasite. Will destroy that Chronos. Valk taking the Kelpfield stun is also going to die. So that was not worth it. as both of the actual heroes that might do something here on the Hellborn side die. Madman, the fourth farmer, really, on Legion. Now that he died, he was at the third, I believe, just above that Parasite, but with the death, falls back down to fourth. So that's a number 4 farmer for the 1 and 2. Clearly not a happy situation for them. And this bot tower now going to be heavily pressured. Rhapsody coming in here. Glyph is popped. Minotaur gets stolen by Parasite, so very well done there. He'll be able to just tank this tower for a bit. And Ophelia is rendered much, much less impressive now that she doesn't have that Minotaur. Jump back here. Now that Kronos is alive. Of course, he does not have the Chrono Field, so to be honest, I think they probably could have kept pushing this, but feeling no pressure whatsoever to be greedy here. I mean, they know how far ahead they are. Well, they don't know how far ahead they are, maybe, but they know that they are ahead. And they know that they have the late game, essentially, especially if things keep going like they are. And there's no reason at this point why they should stop. And just so they'd rather not lose, 3 or 4 of their heroes in a vain attempt to be a little greedy. As Dark Lady once again just keeps shooting up their 550, 560 GPM now. And she just keeps going crazy. Shrunken Head, Rune Cleaver, Abyssal Skull, and Frostburn here, so I assume we'll see the Dawnbringer completed relatively soon. Already has 1,600 gold saved up, so won't be long before that light brand is added. Master of Arms looking for something here. We'll take the Kelp Field. Parasite's there as well, and oh, poor Master. At Invis Rune on Bubbles. And now this is going to be a mid-tower push. It is relatively low, so this actually shouldn't be that big a deal to take out if... yeah, so here comes the creep wave as well, and this should be a mid-tower death. Madman scouting some stuff out here. Tower falls. Top tower in some pressure as Valk and Chronos drop here. This will be also a top tower kill. No defense there from the Legion side, as instead they'd rather just take mid. And they're doing it quite effectively. Earth's Grasp onto Madman will decide to push book and stalk away as the whole Hellborn team has shown up, and Legion will book it out of there. Instead, going to clean up some resources here in the Hellborn jungle. Finding a double stack there and taking it away. Once again, just continuously strong resource control here from the Legion side as TDL somehow has 3,200 gold and a Dawnbringer finished. So I'm not sure what her next item is going to be, but I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of damage. Possibly drop the Ghost Marchers, pick up Post Haste, because she does sort of need that extra slot if she wants to keep TP. Jump in here for Parasite. We'll take over the Minotaur and just run away. So Ophelia continually losing those minions to the Infest from Parasite, and TL just cleaning up creep waves here. Looking for the last outer tower on the Hellborn side, as, oh my god, bot tower took some damage from Legion. It's at 1168 health. Holy crap, it's amazing. This should, just because how hard TDL, it's nearly 600 gold per minute, 275 to 277 damage, and by herself she can just destroy towers, so like I said, not too much building damage here on the Legion side. And then of course there's the TDL with stupid amounts of farm and crazy auto attack damage, and that'll be plenty of building damage, thank you very much. Valk Prism going down as they're just retreating, so this is a highly defensive Valk Prism. Dust going out, and Rhapsody will find nothing. Everybody gonna see these this TDL though. She's sitting right on top. Chrono Field goes down, and now TDL's in a lot of trouble. She's gonna die here. Nice Storm Spirit. Still not gonna be enough. Rhapsody ultimate coming out is gonna save a lot of damage onto this Madman and focus the fire onto TDL as Curson falls in the Master runs in the background. Ult going off from Ophelia. Stockwave from Madman, but of course there's a word of rev down. Parasite gonna fall here as well. So nice fight here from Hellborn. Shell Surf is available, and we'll continue to jump away with that portal key as well. So Hellborn taking 2 for 1. They're losing only their Master of Arms and killing TDL and Parasite. Extremely strong fight. They're going to turn that into a Conquer kill. And just a little bit of Actually, tdL buys back pretty much immediately and he goes straight for Kongor, it looks like. As Kronos just time leaped back. What the hell was that? Yeah, he got S2 bugged. That's fantastic. I don't know what the hell happened there. But it was very funny. So, entire Legion here. Looking for something. I think they sort of realized they need a Kongor kill if they want to push into the base. Or maybe they're just like, well, let's get all the ultimates down and then we'll push. And maybe that does seem to be their plan. Crystal Field is back up. Chrono Field not available for 15 seconds. Newer's busting on cooldown. Master has his ultimate, so if they're looking for a team fight here without any ults on the Hellborn side, they're not going to find it. As Chrono Field will be up in a matter of seconds. And Valk getting chased down here by Madman. Won't quite find her. And she's hiding in the woods here. Going to throw out a random arrow, not going to hit anything. And this is looking like a Kongor attempt here, as they've cleared out all the vision. Rhapsody buying a ton of wards. But I don't think that Hellborn are quite stupid enough to not realize what's going on here. And yep, there's the Rev seeing them. They know the Prism's going down. They're not going to fight in Kongor while the entire Hellborn team is invisible. Another Rev, they're going to counter both a Word of Sight and a Word of Rev. But Legion still have some vision here. Shell Surf going out to spot out Kronos. As both sides know what's going down. So this is going to be basically be the situation. If Legion get Kongor here, they win. I don't think that they need anything other than that token to just be able to push into base, take a couple of racks, and basically say game over. Hellborn obviously means they can't let that happen. If they win a team fight here, it might require a buyback from Dark Lady, and that would be her last one. She does have it available. She has 3,000 gold, so plenty on that front. The question is basically, you know, if they win a team fight, how hard do they need to win it for her to force a buyout? And I think the answer to that is pretty hard, because they'd have to push down middle. There is still a secondary tower here with quite a lot of health. So it would take them a while to get them in any position relatively close to danger. Kronos getting caught by Barrel here on top of the Dark Blades, and now he's in some trouble. Newest busting going out. Gonna die. No Master Ultimate coming out. Actually, maybe it did. And Slacker both as well on this Ophelia. So there's 2 dead for the Hellborn side. Neither have a buyback. And Legion's like, okay, yeah, now we win. No Kronos means no Chrono Field, means no real initiation. Crystal Field actually is going to hit a couple there, but they don't really care. It just didn't do any damage. Rhapsody off to the side, going to take some damage from Valkyrie, but we'll put a Dance Sword down, help her heal herself up. Charge shot into tdL, trying to slow him down. Fork Lightning does the same, but there goes a Rax. I think they're going to transition that into a Kongor kill. So they counter this ward here, which was put down right next to a ward of Rev. Actually, it's not going to be countered. There it is. So this is going to be a token onto tdL. Not only do they get the arrow coming out, will hit Dark Lady, actually. Nice Storm Spirit. So not only do they get a couple of picks, and they get the racks, and they get the token afterwards. So at this point, yep, and then now I'm just going to go for bot. So Kronos will be back up when they're near the base. And he will have a Chrono Field available. But I don't think it's going to matter, because tdL has a token at this point. She's also got a buyout. Worst case scenario, she dies twice. Even if that happens, I can't imagine her dying twice and not taking racks here, and then she'll have a buy on top of it, so it's not like the Hellborn will be able to fight back from that. So it's basically going to be 2 lanes down here in favor of the Legion. I'm not sure there's anything they can do about that. Of course, her Shrunken is up. Didn't even use it the last fight. And so this is going to be 2 lanes down and then a buyback for the defensive purposes. So that's essentially going to mean that at some point Legion are just going to siege top, and
The
Parasite's
Legion have
hanging out over
destroyed
there
a
as the bot
HoN
base tower
Tower.
goes down. And Hellborn are just completely boxed inside their base. Legion are playing this extremely slow, countering the warn up there. Arrow gonna miss. Parasite nearly walked back into it. Master gonna throw a barrel roll out now. And Word of Rev will see him, but actually Legions will get countered. Rhapsody still has Dust, but no more wards, so that ward will stand, and they'll be able to see Madman. Okay, and sorry, I had an error here, so we're going to go into this battle right here. As everything gets dropped, Chronos Field going to come down, everybody jumps into it. The Rhapsody trying to save everybody with the ultimate. The Chrono Field is down. Nice Crystal Field and dig there in the back from Geomancer, but he will fall on top of Parasite. Everybody gets dropped in the background. Ophelia and Master Arms both dying, as TDL is cleaning up, so... Here she is, actually taking some auto attacks from Valkyrie. Geomancer buys back right there, going to get jumped on by TDL once again, as Chrono does the same. And taking some auto attacks. Too much damage from TDL, standing her ground. Gonna chase down Valkyrie. Arrow in the face right there. Gets hit, but not gonna be just, actually is going to be enough, as the token will get used. But Valk falls. Geomancer buys back for a second time. Storm Spirit there to keep him in place. Staccato Sun's coming out, locking him down, and TDL will also pick him off. Now Valk's in trouble as she also buys back. So 4 buybacks actually used there, as everybody drops, and that's the GG. So I had a bit of an error there, so I had to go back and re-record that. But it should all be good now, and it shouldn't matter to you whatsoever, because it should just be spliced together. So summary of the game there, Legion won. I'm not sure if there's anything else to say besides that. They won the laning phase, they carried it over very well, playing cautious pretty much the whole game, never putting themselves in any danger, knowing they have this TDL, she's got a Rune Cleaver, she will eventually outfarm the enemy team, and we can ride her to victory. So that's what their plan was. They successfully executed. I'm not sure how much better they could have done in that plan, and it gave them a win. So Hellborn, I think if they had been a little more aggressive trying to slow down that TDL, especially when she had that Rune Cleaver and she made it clear, yeah, I'm going for the farm game here. This is what I'm going to try to do, take this late. They had some pretty decent mid-game. Valk's a pretty solid mid-game hero, so is Chronos, so is Geomancer. Ophelia, certainly. So they had some opportunities here. They pushed this thing, kept it relatively even for most of the game, but Legion just kept pressing their advantage and never really gave Hellborn enough opportunities to come back. And as a result, they will take the game in Game 1 of this 2-game series. And let's move it on to Game